that there was something dramatic happening in the community, and then people talked about it. People tuned in because the interesting people on the show talked about it. And I feel like without a co-host especially, it's really hard to have that dynamic. So the Pylon Show really was about, like, I hope there's something interesting to talk about every week, as opposed to something slightly different to talk about, and then the chemistry of the people on the show could, like, carry it. So, it's been a really hard product to make work, and I totally understand that. I thought it'd be more hubbub. That's all. Alright, so that took just enough time to get us into a qualifying match. It's a best of 5 now. Whoever wins this gets into DreamHack Summer. Will face the likes of Neeb, Scarlet, Estrella, M. Canning, and any other person who got into, the round of top 8, I guess, overall. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, I was right. I guessed right. Yeah, top 8. So, the people who are already in DreamHack are Estrella, M. Canning, Neeb, Nina, Future, Masa, Namshar, and Scarlet. All the names you would expect from North American tournaments. And then in this tournament, there were some of the other names that you're like, oh, wait a second, they're not already in there? You know, like Vindicta or Disc, who had some really good games last year in DreamHack Summer. And then they're facing guys who you might not have heard about. As far as North America goes, the amount of open qualifier players who actually are expected to make it into DreamHack Summer are kind of low. You know, in Europe, there's like a Skilless will be in the open qualifier, and you're like, wait a second, what is he doing there? And it's just because there are so many good players around a certain skill level in Europe that, like, yeah, occasionally one or two of them is knocked out of that assured spot. So we kind of expect the normal, the usual names, but it wouldn't be the most surprising at all if Robbie were to shoot up a little bit and suddenly, yeah, qualify. That would not be super surprising. We just kind of think that Vindicta would be the one to make it through. But it really depends on the matchup as well. I think a lot of North American players are still around that point where I'm more concerned about their individual matchups than I am about, like, the player versus player thing. So, you know, I mean, Scarlet's kind of infamous for, like, saying she doesn't like facing Protoss, but but just like everyone else as well. I think a lot of them, in particular, have a mental weakness. They psych themselves out, maybe, against Protoss. And a lot of people are just straight up tired of playing Protoss. Since they now have dominated the ladders in a way that you would think only Zerg could do. Zerg's the race that's supposed to be every which way at all times. But hey, now Protoss is replicated, or whatever they do. Do they reproduce? No one knows. No one knows. Finex 1985, thank you for the Prime sub. Blink is on the way for Robbie, which is not at all surprising to see. But what is surprising to see is the fact that Vindicta opened up 2 Reaper. So that's just a little bit of extra spice on the opener that Robbie would have loved to have been able to see this and have his Adept back at home immediately. It actually ends up being pretty okay for Robbie, I would say. Because the Adept, most importantly, grabs the Hellion. But then also didn't die. So I feel like Clem was one of the first guys to really show this, but I'm sure he wasn't the first one to do it. But it's almost like a TvT opener in this matchup. Oh no, you're supposed to be surrounded. Oh, the Reaper gets surrounded. Oh my goodness. Oh, that could have been so much worse. Robbie actually comes out of that pretty okay. And you know, the entire time he was building probes and Blink doesn't stop researching because you're distracted, thank goodness. So I would actually say that's pretty darn good. So the first point I was making was that I think it's actually nice that the Adept didn't die here, because if the Adept's the scouter, she's kind of just like, you know, like having a smoke break, just chilling, and she gets bopped by 2 Reaper Hellion. The mad scramble to get another unit for Protoss it doesn't increase in the first 4 minutes of the game. They have 1 gateway, and then eventually their second gateway finishes, or their third and fourth, whatever they're doing. But, so the Adept dying, I think, is a really big difference. The fact that it was alive, came back, helped, was really nice. And then this surround here was just, I mean, nice little Sim City, right? So, like, kudos to the Protoss, but yeah, Vindicta did let his over-eagerness, his excitement to get into the main base perhaps get to him a little bit. So is that the worst thing in the world for Vindicta? To not do more damage? No. I mean, he got a couple of probes, he interrupted the mining, but it is noteworthy. Like, he did spend a lot of gas in the early game on 2 additional Reapers than you would usually want. It's the barracks time as well, that it's not building a reactor and then building more Marines. And then the Hellion was also 2 of them instead of 1, so...
Thank you for appeasing the Overmind.
100 minerals is not too bad. Uh-oh. Robbie? You have? Okay, there we go. Ooh, not having an observer right off the bat because Robbie was going for a blink in the main base. That is painful. 4 gateways had finished up, so he had planned on going for a 4-gate, but the timing of this was spectacular. Now, can Vindicta actually hold against the 4-gate? I think so. He's already got 2 tanks. The factory is still working, even if the barracks are currently being camped. Marine number is not too convincing, and those zealots are getting awfully close to the tanks. Don't want that. Vindicta is going to clean up the zealots, which makes the stalkers a lot easier to clean up. And now it is Vindicta's time to perhaps worry about the Dark Shrine. He's got 1 missile turret very defensively set up because he did scout the Dark Shrine at some point. Didn't he? Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Oh my god. I got psyched out by that. I definitely would have thought that was a freaking shield battery. But I guess Vindicta actually clicked on it. But does that mean that the missile turret, like, what, doesn't cover the gas? Maybe it doesn't cover, like, this SCV, but it covers this one? Yeah, it's actually still kind of a nice missile turret position. Give him enough credit. So the Dark Shrine doesn't look too useful here, but the Stalkers at least did some damage. They have the potential to do more damage. They did cancel Stim and really interrupt the barracks production, and the Warp Prism is healthy and alive and going to be a constant nuisance for Vindicta, or at least it should be. Definitely don't lose that one, because you don't know what's going to be in it. Zealots, Stalkers, DTs, who knows? Woo. This game's interesting, but it does seem like Vindicta, with that Banshee surprise and the late reaction from Robbie, has taken the lead. Robbie does not have a 3rd Nexus. If he had a 3rd Nexus, and it was kind of an even worker situation, I'd be like, well, yeah, I mean, triple probes. But not having a 3rd Nexus at all, and then losing the Warp Prism. Oh, no. I understand why Robbie was tempted to do that. I really do. You know, whenever you see tanks lined up kind of alone, you're like, Zealot Bomb, that'll get them. That'll get the rage. Then I'll get the wine. And that'll hopefully just get you a result, right? But that was not a good result. The Warp Prism... not even, like, monetarily... We're not even talking about monetary value right now. Talking about just the fact that a Warp Prism is so scary for a Terran player. And, I mean, Robbie is... You know, he knows it. He's going to afford 275 more minerals and build another Warp Prism, but it really sucks that he has to do that. Thank you, Joe, because your name's hard to say. For 17 months. Plag you dice. That lacking 3rd Nexus especially is putting Robbie in a very difficult position. Now, Vindicta, 2 bases, no 3rd. Unless I'm missing it, unless it's snuck somewhere. Nope. Is still not in a just a move across the map and win situation. But he's closer to it than Robbie is. Vindicta's got a little bit of a 1-2 punch set up, dropping the main just to get some units to react to it. Maybe cut off a few pylons, get a couple of probes, and then hit at the front as well. The Stalkers being miscontrolled or almost entirely cleaned up. About half of them lose their lives in an engagement they were not really supposed to take. They were supposed to buy time, not actually fight. A DT warping in the main and over across Vindicta's side of the map is doing something, but not enough, not enough. 12 more probes were lost for only 3 SCVs. Half the Stalker numbers were depleted for, I can only assume, a couple of Marines. Vindicta up 15 army supply. The quality of his army is just so much better with 1-1. The tanks siege up against the Stalkers that blink into them, not knowing. It's not even a very good amount of bio, honestly. If Robbie... Oh, man, this sucks, too. You look at that engagement, take 2 on that engagement for Robbie, and you're like, wait a minute. If I had just, like, defended my third, the bio's not here yet. And tanks alone are easy to deal with, as seen right now. If he had done this from the get-go, if he had taken out the bio when it tried to engage, limited as it was in numbers, and then take the tanks down, oh, it would have been a really nice maneuver. Vindicta just had nothing really to cover them. Even now, his reinforcements really aren't that impressive, but oh, that's not what happened. Robbie took the engagement with the tanks, lost the stalkers, and is still down in their army supply. Ooh, proxy, or the pylon that actually had the fast warpings killed. The bio is not being healed though. Doesn't have any widow mines to support. Vindicta, well, kind of throwing away that army a little bit there, a little bit. But Vindicta does have a 3rd CSC done now, turning into an orbital on the gold mineral base. So that's nasty. And this game is still Vindicta favored. Definitely. But it's a weird game. The Digital Chan. Digital Chan. Thank you for the 5 months. Now this, I can't see actually being an attempt to take the Nexus here. I can't see the Protoss being the one to do this. And not just because Protoss can't lift, but because the Protoss in this particular game is on the back foot. So it's also like, and the Protoss isn't the one with the War Prism anymore. The second one died. It's more likely for Terran to fly over this base than it is for the Protoss to. So it'd be very surprising if that's Robbie's plan, but if he takes it and it works, I would love it. This attack is surprisingly good. Widow Mine's gonna get 1 pretty good shot though. And yeah, that high ground's a little too much to take on. If Robbie's entire army, all these charge outs were there, maybe he's in the main base and can kind of do damage and recall out. Now it's a bit awkward. The Stalkers go right, the Zealots go left, and up to the top, we're gonna finally scout the command center, which is a pretty big deal. At least he knows about it. But a nicely placed bunker. The Zealots just force a hold position to try and grab what they can, which is a bit. It's a bit. And I guess at some point probes also went down, but I'm not sure to what. Widow Mine? Sneaky sneak? I don't know. Robbie still is down in upgrades, down in army supply, with no good army units either. I mean, he doesn't even have an immortal. At best, he can hope to warp in 1 DT at a time. But Vindicta does have 3 orbitals, and, you know, he doesn't really have to mule with how much economy he has, knowing that his opponent might rely on DTs. So this should not be winning the game. Robbie's gonna try, charge alt on top of upgraded bio, and the bio just kind of has to micro just the tiniest, littlest bit, and it's going to be good for Vindicta. GG. Robbie got a surprisingly good start for how annoying and powerful that build can look. That was surprisingly good for Robbie, but that Banshee really screwed things up. It wasn't just the fact that it killed so many probes and took so long to clean up. It was that it hit at the perfect time. It was right as the Blink Stalkers are going to try and do some serious damage. It was into the main base where it was able to scout the Dark Shrine. Maybe the Dark Shrine's the natural. The Banshee isn't the end of the world. But it just was the perfect timing. And I don't think Robbie was really incorrect to do what he did either. I don't know. I kind of missed when he was building his 2 gateways, to be honest. They almost looked like a reaction to how the game opened, and not necessarily his first instinct on that map. But I liked the 4 gate in that particular situation. He just couldn't control it and couldn't take advantage of the pressure because he was losing so many probes. 12 probes don't go down, and he easily has a 3rd Nexus on the way, doing his harassment, extending his lead. Really, really, really started with that damn Banshee. And it's kind of a tricky thing for Terrans to do that nowadays, too. If you're wondering why 1 Banshee against a semi-pro did so much damage, maybe you're trying to judge Robbie right now. Definitely don't. It's like out of meta. I don't know about on NA, though, to be honest. I mean, NA can do whatever it wants. But it's a little out of meta, and it doesn't make a lot of sense if the Protoss player is at all aware, right? Because they just get an observer with their Blink Stalkers. And they have the capability to get both of those things. They opened up Blink, they opened up with a Robo. Why would you go Banshees? But it's exactly why they go for it. Because you think that. Top right of Oxide, it is Robbie for Roots Gaming. In the bottom left, it is Vindicta for Alpha X. Have you seen TY Patience? No. Sounds fun, though. Sounds fun. After 12 hours of Mass Effect streaming, I was, unsurprisingly, sleeping. And then fit in a quick run. Healthy grub. And then I actually went out with a friend for the first time in a year and a half. We're both vaccinated. And I really was, like, craving hot pot for a while. So I had it once years ago, and I was like, meh, I wish we had Korean barbecue, honestly. And I think I'll always think that. I'll never prefer hot pot over barbecue. And then, a couple years later, I try it again, and I get the spicy Szechuan. And it was like, there's like mild, medium, regular, actually, I think is the third tier, and then spicy is the fourth, which, okay, whatever. So I was like, ooh, okay, 2 out of 4. I might be a white girl, but, you know, I really like Korean food. Like, I have a tolerance for spicy food. No, whatever, like, Chinese hot pot spice is, like, that spice just like me, and we don't like each other. I did not enjoy the food. And unfortunately, when you, like, dedicate to a broth, it, like, contaminates everything you touch with it. So it's, like, the whole point of hot pot. So I was like, damn it. I feel like this could be a fun experience. I feel like this could taste good. I'm trying it again. And luckily, my friend had just messaged me about being vaccinated. So it's like, ooh, you like doing weird restaurant things. Come here with me. And guys, I can now report that it was actually pretty good. Again, still, I think I'd always prefer barbecue, but no, it was pretty good. I could definitely see myself craving it. And then, honestly, I just chilled outside. Took a little, like, outdoor nap, you know? Now that I'm back at my parents' place and they are, you know, boomers, and they actually own a house. There's a patio in the backyard. So I can enjoy this absolutely flipping perfect day. It's, like, literally the definition of a perfect day, right? Like, okay, some people out there are gonna be like, oh, is it rainy and stormy? Okay, shut up, get out of here, get out of here. Now, it was like 77 Fahrenheit and a slight wind, just enough to cool you down, not enough to really, like, tangle your hair or anything like that. Cloudy, but mostly sunny. I don't know, that's just, like, it's great. I almost bought a cigar to enjoy it. Now, enough about my day-to-day life, because there's actually something interesting going on. Vindicta, much like the first series of the day, I guess, chooses the second game to add a little bit more spice. First game with the multiple Reaper opener is already a little spicy, but this is, I guess, this is the regular spice, if we're going by that hot pot. Oh, nice catch with the probes. It actually didn't confirm the Twilight Council. Ah, that's really nice. Definitely clicking on the wrong thing. But to, you know, that said, Robbie has no idea about this armory. It's actually kind of funny that Vindicta, oh, he scans. There you go, now he knows. I think he's mostly concerned about a Dark Shrine being added on there, but sees the chrono. But it's kind of funny that Vindicta hides the armory because even if they go for a Stargate opener, the armory here is like, well, actually, yeah, I guess if it is a Stargate opener, well, this is awkward. This is super awkward. Oh my god. One Marine gets in there, that's not enough. Woo! Jeez, that was weird, that was weird. Vindicta going for kind of a slightly late bunker, at least went for one. I would not have blamed him for not having a bunker. If they're not gonna hit you with an early adept shenanigan thing, then it's like, okay, are they gonna hit me with a 4-gate? You know, and that's kind of like the two options that they really commit to a push. Even if they do have 6 stalkers off of 2 gateways, they don't often, like, go up the ramp like that. So it's Vindicta, good thing he got a bunker at all, because that was an awfully oddly aggressive little 5-unit poke there. Anyways, I was saying that the armory can oftentimes find itself in your own main base, safe and tucked away, and still be effective. But in this case, it was proxied, it was hidden. Robbie still hasn't actually scouted it, although he got damn close. And I don't think he stuck around long enough to notice that the Widow Mines were not decloaked, because he was trying to skedaddle. He was trying to get the heck out of there before they actually launched. So that is especially awkward. We have a robo again. You should with this build, but it's only one observer, so I don't think he picked up on it. But then again, he did kill the medevac. He might be feeling like there is just no Widowmine pressure at all now coming, which he is correct. There is no medevac. And if it was just a 2 Widowmine, no armory committal drop, I'd be like, yeah, it's totally the correct thing to say. But funnily enough, with Vindicta going for the armory and fast drilling claws, I would have 100% expected more medevacs. Instead he went medevac Viking Raven, which, all right, anyway, that's what he's got. But I would have expected at least 2 medevacs, if not 3, if not 4. And just continued pressure. We see that from other Terrans, but it is a choice you can make. And in this case, Vindicta was like, you know what, not gonna bother with it anymore. It's funny because in this game, it would have been nice. Robbie would not have had observers everywhere. It would have caused some chaos. And you can see why not doing any damage with a Widow Mine or not causing any hubbub. Like, it's like you necessarily don't have to kill 12 probes, but at the very least, you can cause some hubbub and force them to pull the probes, lose a stalker, forget their timings. Like, that's not even happening. Just a little Widow Mine sneak drop there. Oh no, auto turret actually. And that's the only harassment that Robbie's had to deal with. So he's on 3 bases, 57 probes. Upgrade's about to finish. Colossus is on the way. And Vindicta is only not even halfway to his stim. And that's not just the Widow Mine opener with the armory. That's the inclusion of the fast drilling claws, which, you know, I could definitely see an argument for it being really good when you are doing the Widow Mine drops. Especially if your macro is really good. Widow Mine drop to the left, to the right, to the center, to the right again. Then you do a really swift follow-up with like 6 bio units and 10 Widow Mines. And you're like, aha, you don't have anything because I've been like all over the place. But that's not this game. So Vindicta has these Widow Mines, but are they going to be good enough? Are they going to make up for the fact that his bio count maybe isn't as impressive? Or that his upgrades don't really feel that fast at all. They're finishing with this push. He's timing it out. He's making it look nice. The actual wrapping around the gift might be a little haphazard, but the bow is done really well. But is it actually going to matter? Robbie's got 1 Colossus, 2 shield batteries. Second Colossus is almost here. No force fields. Coming in later than I expected, but maybe it doesn't matter. An awfully aggressive blink forward. In fact, the 2 tanks are still alive. Made that one a little scary. The Stalkers lived because it was actually the 2 sentries that were tanking the shots. I mean, usually don't want that to happen, but they did the Stalkers a favor. 9 SCVs have been lost, and that is all the fodder that you would want for the Terran. Specifically, SCV pools are made against Colossus because Colossus wastes the shots on them. But that hopefully means that the bio and the tanks are ripping the army to shreds. The Colossus wastes the shots on the SCVs. In this case, the SCVs died separate from the army. Nothing was really done to Robbie. Vindicta knows that. GG. Robbie strikes back. Ties up the series. Takes Vindicta's present with its haphazard wrapping and its pretty bow and just throws it to the side. Tells him to get better. Get good at wrapping presents, kid. A scale from 1 to 5, I had 5 on the hotness, spicy Nepalese scale. Yeah, that's on you. Even if I felt really confident in my spiciness abilities, I would always not choose the spiciest. And then if it wasn't spicy enough, I would just ask for the spice. I think you learned your lesson. There's already some SCVs on the move. Game 3's on Lightshade. Top left, Robbie. Bottom right, Vindicta. And this Vindicta kid is going to go for one of the fastest 2-racks you can do. Generally, if you're going to go for a normal 2-racks, I guess you can call it, it's like you send the first SCV out immediately, yes, but then the second SCV can kind of go along slightly before the supply depot SCV. Like, they kind of go out at the same time. One builds the supply depot, the other one just keeps on trucking. But 2 immediately together. I mean, even if it is a 15-15 as opposed to 15-16 or whatever the other one is. 16-16? I don't know. Anyways, it's yeah, it's still not actually timed out like, same. Very, 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 very small, inconsequential note. I made it sound really important. It's not. I'm just surprised. It was just immediately they split both of them out. And it was both very quick. Gas Geyser is on the way. Vindicta may be seeing a little more potential in that first game than what actually happened. He won it, but he could have done a lot more to win it in the first 2 minutes with his Reaper opener. There was definitely a chance. Now, Robbie has been scouting for proxies. At least I noticed in the first game on Blackburn, he scouted for a proxy. I missed it in the second game because I was talking about food. But he's doing it again in the third game. He does look around for proxies. He just looked the wrong way. Feels trapped, man. Feels trapped. So this probe does scout that something is amiss, but scouting where the proxy's coming in from is always better. No Reapers coming forward. The gas guys are coming down pretty late. I mean, you could add on a Reaper now, I suppose, but it is actually just going to be a bunker rush against Protoss, which, have really fallen out of favor, but they do work. As seen by Mara versus Trap. And I guess that's where Vindicta's finding his inspiration. The pylon at the front is amazing for everything but this. It is a really awesome call when you think someone's proxying you, because first it's a Reaper, then maybe it's whatever else. Natural shield battery is powerful. Against this, it's just a weakness. The pylon will go down eventually. The Zealot just trying to buy time. It knows it was gonna die. The probe also trying to buy time, but everything's gonna get canceled. As Robbie, I mean, was that not a pylon? I'm actually surprised he canceled literally everything. And then, yeah, if he's gonna do that, then he's gotta cancel the Nexus, and that's exactly what he does. A big loss of minerals right there, 175 down the drain. Robbie also supply blocked, of course, because he was not rebuilding the second pylon defensively. He was trying to rebuild it there. I swear that was a pylon. I didn't click on it, but it's gotta be, right? So he cancels that, is late to the unsupply block, now is finally there, but that delay on the second or third unit, actually, because he built the Zealot, is really scary in this situation. Vindicta should feel awfully happy about how this went down. The 2-racks can be so bad in this matchup that it doesn't kill a Nexus. It doesn't even phase the Protoss. It can be that bad. I mean, if it's scouted, that's the first time it can be so bad. The SCV is killed, and then you're like, just kidding. Don't worry about it. Or it's scouted so fast that they just actually have shield batteries defensively placed. And then there's the people who can quickly respond just in the right type of moment. Save their Nexus. It takes Pepper. They lose some units. They have to change their build, but they still save the Nexus. Nah, this game, Robbie forced to cancel it. Should be feeling good for Vindicta. He's back at home, building his tank, has a bunker, really safe against a counterattack. The floating barracks scouts the committal to 4 gateways. When you cancel the Nexus, I mean, you got a lot of extra cash. And since you can't quite break out of the bunkers if they actually were still all here, build the gateways first, but it's really awkward looking now. Really awkward looking. The barracks is not going to die anytime soon. That Dark Shrine's going to be scouted. Robbie. Ooh, a little flustered right now. A little flustered. He's scrambling.
Hostile forces detected. Arming raid defenses.
Hey, Mole Trap. Thank you for that raid. Noticed you streaming Brood War earlier. So the Dark Shrine is gonna go down, but if Vindicta doesn't anticipate this, then that's on Vindicta. Adept actually shades, maybe accidentally, sees death. But at least sees that it is still a one-base Terran player. Now, is that actually one base? Is there going to be a follow-up all-in? Oh, it actually saw the command center. Okay, that was a worthwhile shade then. So, that was a good scout. That was a good scout. Command center not being on location is still better than the alternative, which is it's on location, a bunker's up the front, everything's hunky-dory. At least Vindicta is also still figuring things out from the opener. Clearly anticipating that 4-gate to hit. Not just a forward bunker, but also a second bunker. It's not hitting, and Vindicta, with every passing second that he doesn't quite realize that there's no attack, is a way for Robbie to come back in. Now, it's still not great. Canceling the Nexus, building your gateways, and then not using them is still not an ideal build order. We can all agree on that. But it is better to build 450 minerals worth of stuff than it is to build that plus 4 stalkers, which is math I don't want to do on stream right now. That just makes it worse. So, if you're gonna change your plans, be dedicated in your change. It's kind of the good rule of StarCraft. Literally just sitting there flip-flopping every which way and being half-assed no matter what you choose is not going to be good for anyone. So that scan also would have revealed the Dark Shrine, but that's no big surprise. I actually kind of like that Robbie let it finish. It's still a 2-base situation, which is like you don't want to build gateways and not use them. You don't want to build a Dark Shrine and not use it, but I kind of like the idea of having it. I've seen far too many games where DTs scouted still do a tremendous amount. I've played too many games where that happens. So a War Prism plus DTs, that's going to scare any Terran. Doesn't matter if the Terran has 15 missile turrets, 2 Ravens, maxed out on supply. They're always going to be like, well, what if? I don't know, man. Vindicta has successfully macroed into all of his upgrades with a natural command center, but it is very defensive. He can't 100% know what his Protoss opponent is doing, and with that uncertainty, Robbie is finding a way back into this game. If Robbie had really played it risky, really just been like, oh god, I hope he's really scared, and gotten like a fast third base or a double forge or something, right? He'd actually be really happy with how this game turned out. He would be scouting Vindicta, still turtled up, and be like, oh, this guy was playing scared, okay. And, of course, Robbie doesn't have a ton of scouting. Does have an observer on the front lines, which did kind of see the wall here, but it's much more importantly wanting to see the bio move out. When the bio moves out, the Warp Prism moves in. You can't explain it. It should buy Robbie an extra 10 seconds at least. Now, Robbie's Nexus only just starts, which means that it's very easily snipeable. No shield battery, no pylon warp-ins. But I think it also means that canceling it is not as painful as a 90% finished Nexus. Warp Prism comes in, but oh no, there's a Cyclone and a Viking and a missile turret. Oh no, that was actually... That would have been so much more successful in the natural, it's crazy. Robbie thought the main would be a little bit more of a potential. And, nope, the natural would have been much better. That is still a fearsome Protoss army. The +1's almost done. And a third Colossus? No, a Disruptor actually is on the way. That just popped. Charge is almost done, and I think Vindicta realizes that that's not a fight that he's guaranteed to win, not at all. Even with double interference matrix, it's still a little bit sketchy with the charge finishing, so he does evacuate. And that's a feels bad man moment for the Terran, you know? Like, it's frustrating. It is frustrating. You have to be a really, 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 really high-skilled Terran player, like, you know, the best Koreans I'm kind of talking about here, to perfectly walk this line of, okay, my Protoss player can do literally anything. They're a crazy son of a gun. It's NA ladder. This is a tournament, but just go with my hypothetical here. And I don't know if I need to defend or attack. Defend or attack. Defend or attack? Turtle? expand? No? Hold up. And it's just, you have to be really good to play that mental game. It's mostly a mental game. Which is why, like, there was a series at Katowice, I think it was like Dream versus SOS. And SOS is kind of that, you know, one of the examples of someone who can bamboozle the hell out of the top tier Korean Terrans. Because he's a top tier Korean Protoss. And so when Dream, maybe it was Bunny, I don't remember. But when one of the Terrans was like identifying everything correctly, when to turtle, when to pull back, when to harass, it was well worth mentioning that he was playing a spectacular game. Which I tried to highlight. So it's just, it feels like a game that Vindicta absolutely should have been winning. But because he had to take into all these considerations, you move in, you go for what you hope is the gut punch, and you realize that the Protoss has had some time to figure things out and to get to a decent army. And you're like, shit, well, I guess you start questioning yourself. You're like, oh, did I not do enough damage? Is Protoss really just bullshit? Like, am I the bad player? Like, it's not a good feeling. It's not the worst either. Vindicta just has to play a macro TvP, which I don't think was really his intent, considering his opener. That's the way the cookie crumbles. It's the way the wind blows. That's the way the, I don't know, what other sayings are there here? So how does the macro game look? Well, Vindicta gets to 3 bases. He has a very good army for defending, so I think he's fine to max out. Robbie is, of course, also kind of in a situation where he doesn't 100% know if his opponent's attacking or not. He wants to take map control, and I actually like his map vision right now. Some pylons every which way, a probe scouting, or DT scouting the 4th, a couple zealots. Like, he's got a lot of vision. But it's still scary for him to expand, but he absolutely should. He's choosing to get more supply first and foremost, but with how much we know Vindicta is just setting up defensively, Robbie is going to regret not expanding faster. He could have. Because these 3 bases are, I mean, they're similar in bases, right? 3 bases to 3, but Protoss has become a little bit more of the expansion race, more so than the Terran. Well, the attack comes in swift and fast and hard, and it looks really damn good. Okay, well, the Colossus actually are derping the hell out, and we have ourselves a base race? Okay, all right, that's how this is gonna go. The Colossus all die without having really supported the engagements. The DTs are defending the main base, and a recall is going to help defend it further, but that turned way weirder than it was supposed to. No, units! Oh, Robbie. Oh no, he was gonna clean it up. No problem. Now it's more of a trade. Oh my god. The recall was so nicely timed. It took out a medevac that was full of units. And then the disruptors killed like 5 stalkers? 6? I mean, that's pretty important in a game like this. You both just clobbered your economies, not to an extreme extent, 40 probes to 38 SCVs, but it's just got a more difficult game to judge, and you just lost not just army units, but the units that tell you information in a game like this. Like, the more active you are with stalkers, the better a Protoss player you are, really. They're really like the high skill cap units of Protoss. So to lose a good number of them it's really big. Oh, well, Robbie at least managed to save his Dark Shrine and didn't lose any other technology in the main base. He did react fast enough. It sucks about the disruptors. It also really sucks about the Colossus. I feel like if the 3 Colossus were actually shooting where they should, this gets broken. Temporarily, perhaps, but I think the 3rd CC has to lift, SCVs get killed, Natural starts to get in trouble, then the recall happens, right? But the Colossus just derped, did basically nothing, and died. So that's a waste. I mean, it seems like things have come to even up, by the way. This is it's what I expect from North America. It's why it's so much fun. It's not that it's a low skill game, which a lot of people like attribute North America's volatility to. It's like, it's a high risk game. It's like the players in North America, for some reason, it's all that young, red hot American blood. I don't know. like, are just willing to take riskier decisions. So, and that's so funny to say in this game, too, because I was talking about how much they're both turtling and not expanding. So it wasn't actually risky until that moment. But then it feels like where maybe some of the European players would be like, oh no, a base race, I'm scared, I'm gonna just go back home. North American players are like, balls to the wall! Anyways, the drop here just killed a Nexus. That's pretty damn big. Probes going down to Liberator harassment. Robbie, having been at a stable supply, suddenly plummets. And that lacking Nexus especially is so hurtful. 3 bases, 3 Nexus with 29 probes. You know, that's not great, but maybe you can recover. But now 2 Nexus, 29 probes. You might as well just all in, I suppose. Vindicta has his 4th base, so he can replace SCDs pretty quickly. He's still got his setup here, bunker included. It goes down, but it bought some time. Disruptor gets a good hit, but Liberator still isn't broken. A 3rd Disruptor gonna try and get a hit as well, but it's absolutely nothing. Now it's just the Stalkers, the 2 Disruptors out of shots, can't support anymore, and Robbie, he's not gonna be winning this fight. He might think that this was actually super one-sided from the get-go, but it wasn't until he lost that Nexus. He had +3 attack versus Vindicta's 1-1. He has, you know, Robo Tech. He could have been building Colossus again, but he went for Disruptors. The Nexus falling prompted him to do an all-in, one which maybe said, you know, showed like, oh, he doesn't actually have as much as I thought he did. Maybe now I can try to play this out, but you've already lost the Disruptors. And you still haven't replaced the Nexus. 2-2 is now on the way for Vindicta, getting rid of Robbie's 1 advantage. Robbie is trying to expand now to a fresh base, which, yeah, the better risk to take there. But with Robbie seeing a 4th base turning into a planetary, that can't feel very good. Time for all-in. Hot duh. Isn't duh. It's the only thing you can do. Oh, actually, this is not a bad fight here. That's not a bad fight at all. Most of Vindicta's army is over at the 4th base. Good EMP, blankets the Stalkers. Good target fire on the Disruptor, takes it down. I mean, that is a that's a good fight for how many units were available, but there's the rest of Vindicta's units. And those chances of finding Vindicta with a small army supply in one place, chances are gonna get slimmer and slimmer. Vindicta just goes up and up in supply. Suddenly his splits are still, either side, still as large as your army. So Robbie's got to keep up the pressure, which is gonna suck, because now he can't defend his Nexus, or he defends his Nexus and loses all the pressure. Tough decisions. Robbie's gonna go for the attack, but the Zealots are already wasting shots on SCVs. Liberator sieging up without being hit immediately. That is it. GG. That was a game. That was a game of StarCraft. Game 4 is going to be on Jagannatha. Vindicta is up 2-1. It's still the upper bracket, so even if Robbie were to lose here, he has the lower bracket to go through. And I think he could do it. The top right, down a game, he is Robbie. In the bottom left, it is Vindicta. Not sending out SCVs this time around. That got him ahead, for sure, but playing out the rest of the game was still very difficult. Determining exactly what Robbie's plans were very difficult. I'm not even sure Robbie was like 100% what his plan was. He kind of just went with the flow. Did it pretty successfully. And they got to a very even state where the last complaint I made for the players before the base race thingy happened was that, yeah, Robbie should be probably expanding. He was also, I guess, hesitating in the face of uncertainty. Not knowing if he should attack or expand or just wait and defend, see if Vindicta pushes into him. So he attacked, and that was a fine decision, but again, it felt like time was just not on Robbie's side. He attacked as Vindicta had picked up his 2 drops and was speeding them over into his bases, and then the third one, I think, just came up the middle or whatever. But if Robbie had waited 15 more seconds, he starts to move out, goes, oh shit, drops, cleans the drops up, and then moves out, probably. Or at least warps in stalkers to ensure the drops don't escalate. But he committed, and it was a bit of a wrong time, and just execution-wise also was not the best. And that really sucks. 3 Colossus doing, I swear they did nothing. I think they shot like a Marauder, a Cyclone, a couple of supply depots. That was really painful. So Vindicta might not be sending out SCVs really quickly, but he did send out 1. Factory, proxy coming in here. Robbie's searching every which way already for a proxy, but then just got confirmed. There was... Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no. Oh, that's gonna bum him out if this is the reason that he loses. He didn't scout far enough to see if it was actually a 1 base. I mean, unless he knows based off of the Marine, not Reaper, but that's not... You can open up Marine, not Reaper in this matchup and still expand. If he had waited a little while longer, he would have seen the second supply depot. If he had dipped in a little bit more, he would have seen the second gas. Oh, I don't know how this is gonna go anymore. I don't know, because Robbie doesn't know and is also proxying. Huh. You know, I actually think I like Robbie's position more, but I really need to think on it. So the problem that I see is that while Vindicta's build would be really annoying and have the ability to do maximum amount of damage, it is more harassment. Widow Mines can be microed against, especially if you have a robo, which Robbie's gonna have. He's proxying it. So if they see it, they can react to it, and then they'll be like, oh, it's cloaked, okay, I know what's up. But that the same can't really be said for Vindicta, who's going to see the attack, see a warp prism with charge lots in his main base, and he can't just like micro his workers around it and be like, oh, okay, I know what's up. He's gonna just die. He has no production at home aside from a barracks. If he had 2 bunkers right here, SimCity a little bit, maybe he could do something. But it is... this should be Robbie's game. Oh, no! Okay, well, that sucks. He loses 6 probes instead of 1. Oh, God. Okay, all right, we're good. But this should be the moment that Robbie goes, oh, okay. And then just sends an observer home, kind of deals with some probe losses, but then, I mean, doesn't he just win with charge loss versus... There's a fucking Thor on the way, you guys. I forgot this was an option. Oh my God. I don't know anymore. So it's really about the amount of charge lots that Robbie can get at this point, which might not be good enough if the Widow Mines can't be cleaned up very quickly. And Vindicta's follow-up is really fast. That wall... maybe a downside? Oh, 2 gateways depowered immediately. Window mine still not cleaned up. Gonna get another shot. Oh no, there's not enough zealots. There's not enough zealots. Vindicta's gonna win with this. His follow-up with the Thor Marine push was so much more dedicated than I thought it was going to be. I don't know why I thought anything else. He was clearly dedicated to his build when he proxied two structures. Oh my god. If it was just Widow Mines into a command center, I feel like Robbie's got a real shot, but he did not have enough units. Oh, how painful is this? Oh my goodness. GG. Vindicta takes a 3-1. How about that?